Hey there, hole havers. We're going to be talking about some holes today. The YouTube kind. Weird YouTube holes that we've fallen down. The rabbit holes through the cyber constructs of YouTube's time-space continuum. And here I am with Jonathan Hinman, also an avid, experienced YouTube user.
He's seen the holes.
He has seen a few holes. He's diving down quite a handful. A whole plethora. Yeah. And I will say, you have content on YouTube as well. Jonathan, if you didn't know, makes YouTube videos, little sketches where, how would you define your sketches? I don't know how to quite, there's something you probably see on adult.
I'm big fans of Tim and Eric. I'd say it's a absurd, surreal comedy.
It is. It's a very distinct flavor, your videos. If you haven't seen them, you should check them out. The way that they're edited and the way that they're parodying types of edits of TV or film that we've seen in the past. I don't know. It's very, very clever stuff. You should check it out. But that's one hole. That is one hole of many holes to dive down. I have my own hole. I have a few holes.
We've all been down your hole.
Everyone's been down several holes of mine. Actually, there's a few holes that people haven't been down, and we might talk about some of those today. Yes. I mean, we are avid. I mean, we are YouTubers, but we are also YouTube users. I think even more so. I think.
How can it not be?
How can you not be? Yeah. Right? It's like being a writer that doesn't read. Although I will say I hate reading books. I love to write scripts. I guess I like to watch movies. And a script is to a movie as a book is to a reading a book.
It checks out.
It checks out. Yeah. Fuck books. Anyways, no. So why do we fall down these holes? And let's define what a YouTube hole is. Let's say, because we have some people who maybe don't like to use YouTube. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that's
not a person,
right? Yeah. If you don't know what a YouTube hole is, then go die. No, I'm just. But
you need to have an unhealthy relationship.
Let's all just a very unhealthy relationship with yourself to not know what that is. But let's get right to the point, so we're all on the same page. A YouTube hole, in our definition, I think what we mean is just, when you're up at, let's say, 2 or 3 in the morning, you click on a video you find interesting, and you go, I wouldn't mind seeing a variant of that, or something related to that. Now, you could also jump to different holes. You could, find you could be watching stop motion, and then that stop motion, you might find a stop motion of a man, a little puppet's head being chopped off, and now full on, you're watching some snuff beheading shit. That's one hole. But maybe not on YouTube. But maybe the hole could take you off of YouTube. We've all seen the interviews with porn stars and then went to another hubby type site to check out their work. I'm not saying I have. I'm just saying that's what
you do.
That's what you do. If you're listening to this, that's what you do.
Yeah,
and Jonathan, you do.
Right? But not. Yeah,
but what I'm saying is holes can transcend even outside of YouTube. But I think what we're talking about today are strictly within the confines of YouTube, which I have seen some pretty fucked up things on YouTube holes. I've seen holes on holes because if I've gone down holes and seen actual holes, is what I'm saying.
Into the subholes of the subholes?
Well, no, I mean talking about human holes, like dicks and pussies and things. I've seen, if it's educational, and there are some things that are crazy that YouTube will. Okay, I'm not joking. I've seen this on YouTube. They must have deemed this as educational because it was on in full view and nothing was censored. They attach a camera onto the head of the penis. And then they attach a camera up inside the vaginal, and the penis going in, and you see it. I distinctly remember it from the viewpoint of the inside of the vagina, and seeing this head just coming into the close-up, and then sucking back out, and then coming back up for a close-up, and then sucking back, and until it throws up and covers the camera. I'm not kidding. I've seen it on YouTube. I've seen it, and I don't know if it's still there, but I remember watching it. I want to say I can't remember, but I want to say it had a substantial amount of views before, or it had been uploaded for a substantial amount of time. So it wasn't just like something that someone had just uploaded that I was lucky enough to see right in that moment. No, that thing had existed and breathed for a bit, and I remember thinking, well, this is educational, I guess. I had an idea of what this looked like. Now I know.
That is so funny because it's like, is that porn? Like, yeah. I mean, aside from this free speech arguments about porn, but it's also like, I'm not like, that does actually sound pretty educational.
Right.
Like,
right. But then it's like, what purpose does it serve to learn this? Hey, why don't we also learn what the inside of what shit looks like in the butthole? Like, why don't we
from the shit's perspective?
From the shit's perspective,
yeah, you're right.
A camera onto a turd. No, I mean, like seriously, like, why do we need to know what that looks like? I mean, it's
for the same reason we study dolphins. Just gotta know.
We just gotta know. Anyways, if it's educational, it's on YouTube, and sometimes, like the video I have just mentioned, it's just downright comical. So that's one hole, a hole with holes. I've been down. What are some other I've been down. Ghost holes. You ever been down a ghost hole or paranormal hole? And
stay away from those holes.
Stay away from those. Far from those holes, because my dumbass only tends to go into those holes at like at 2 or 3 in the morning. Yeah. That's, really most holes I go down. Rarely. If I start going down a hole at 12 in the afternoon, I start going like, what am I need to hike. Right. I need to fucking eat ramen or do something with my, doing that. I can't be doing a hole in the middle of the daylight. But like midnight to 1:30 a.m. is when you're really susceptible to like, well, yeah. And I have to say, just really quick sidebar, working in film really, really makes you value the essence of daylight or daylight itself. It wasn't until I started really like Magic Funhouse or theater class even when we needed the daylight. I started cherishing just how many hours of sun I get a day, especially now that I don't have a day job. Then you truly are unaffected by the obligation to be anywhere at a certain time based off of the 9-to-5 schedule. So daylight is a very, very important thing to me. And when I start wasting, I don't want to say wasting time, but when I start going down a YouTube hole and it's sunny outside, I really do get anxiety because I feel like I only have so many hours of this left. Yeah. This is very, very poisonous. Same thing when I play video games. And that's honestly, I'm not to knock video games because I love them. I get addicted to them. Seriously, I could spend hours and hours every day. I can't have. I currently do not have. I no longer have a PlayStation 4 in my house, and I no longer have an Xbox for the same reason that I just simply cannot do YouTube holes while the sun is out because I will go for hours. Although I will say that YouTube holes are a great antidote to the DMV line or the really any kind of line you don't want to be in. The airport, Disneyland.
There's a section of your life that you don't want to live.
Exactly. That's the autopilot button. Exactly. You get through that shit so quickly. And if you got a pair of headphones, which I personally recommend, I like the nicest of the nice headphones that I could put because sound is 60% of any production. And I honestly had the Beats headphones for a while, the studios, but I just recently started getting the Sony ones because I recently broke my pair of Beats on accident. I went back to Best Buy. I asked for another pair, the same Beats, the studio ones, and they said, "Well, we have them, but there's also the Sony ones, and they're way better and they're way cheaper." He said that they're cheaper, they're way better, and it's essentially the Sony equivalent of Beats. And I have no loyalty to either company, and I am saying out of sheer objectivity, not objectivity, is that the right word? Out of Sony is far better. And so I've been falling down some YouTube holes with the best sound I could. I'm really sucking Sony's dick, aren't I? And I use their equipment too.
Yeah, but
to film with.
You're making these holes sound so good.
Anyways, the right way to go down a YouTube hole, you got to have the right headphones. Yeah. And if you and I understand that those are just any headphone will do. Really, you don't want to fall down a YouTube hole listening to your fucking palm echoing off your fucking sound.
And you don't want it public. And
you don't want it public. You want
a real YouTube hole.
You want
just you and the hole.
Exactly, one that's an authentic hole for you. Because when you got that sound blaring and you're in a Starbucks, everyone's gonna be hearing you listen. It's like. You're not going to watch what you truly watch when you're alone.
You're going to click that save for later button.
And you're going to forget it. If you're a stoner like me, you're going to forget it in 5 seconds.
You're going to think better of it later.
Right. And so anyways, you got to go down the YouTube hole with headphones, whether they're nice headphones or shit headphones. Just make sure you can hear the video, but I do recommend the nice headphones. And anyways, so I will at the DMV, pro tip, and I learned it when we went on tour this year, and one thing about going, when you're on tour, you just have a lot of time you need to kill. You're in an airport every weekend, you're just literally finding ways to hit that fast forward button on your life. Remember that movie Click? And he he would just set it on autopilot and just set life fast forward. And that was so sad. But that's kind of what you got to do sometimes to get through, because there are moments in life you just got to get through. And if they don't require a lot of brain power, throw on those headphones and go into a hole. And and so one of my favorite YouTube holes, I got to tell you, his name, it's a YouTuber. I don't want to say YouTuber because I don't like being called a YouTuber. I like to be called a filmmaker, director, actor, whatever. This guy, I would classify him. I'd classify him as an animator, a singer, songwriter, artist. He's a very, very talented guy. His name is Jack Stauber. I cannot pronounce his name for the life of me, but it's Jack, J-A-C-K, and then S-T-A-U-B-E-R, I believe. And he is brilliant. His videos are, I like to think of them like if I knew how to do stop motion and if I could sing and write music, I would like to think that I'd make videos like these. This is like the kind of creator where it's like, I wish I could do that. You know what I'm saying? This guy, he has these stop motion things, and they're shot in a way, they look like the circa 80s, 90s, early 90s, the really grainy, filmy, fluorescent VHS looking kind of quality. And he's
a happy time before I knew
exactly. But the thing is, they get fucked up though. The claymation, the puppets, horrible things start to happen, and it's without much context. He doesn't go into like why they're very short too. They're like a minute long. They're very, very quick, and that's how he's able to, I imagine, crank out so many, because he not just good quality, it's quantity. I'm surprised by how often he's cranking stuff out. So he's got like a hole that is constantly extending. Just constantly, just every week. I feel like, and I don't know how often he uploads, but I feel like I am notified every time he does upload. And it's always a treat, and it always feels more frequent than if I were at the wheel of that ship. Whatever he's doing, he's found a system to, and I believe I could be wrong, but I believe he's worked with Adult Swim. He's cut from that cloth, at least. He's of that weird midnight kind of satisfying urge. And then there's also another YouTuber who I absolutely love. He's a great hole to be in. Is Rob Dyke, I believe his name is. Rob Dyke.
Interesting choice of the last name.
Right. I was just about to apologize for that little giggle, but then you had to go there with the whole joke. But Rob Dyke, honestly, he gets under your skin at 2 or 3 in the morning. He is creepy in a good way. I mean, I wish I could,
like salad fingersy.
So this guy is. Did you ever watch that show in the 90s? Fact or Fiction.
Oh man!
Well, it was a creepy show hosted by the guy who played Captain Kirk from Star Trek, and I forget his name. But anyways, it was called Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction. That was the name of the show, and it creeped me the fuck out. Rob Dyke is the YouTube version, in my opinion, of that show. He's the equivalent, because that show really, I remember when in the 90s, got under my skin. They would it would come on at 9 p.m. or 10 p.m., which basically as a kid was like 2 a.m. And they walk in, he walks in and he goes, the following stories that you're about to see, some of them are fact and some of them are fiction, and you decide. And then at the end of the episode, they reveal which ones were true and which ones weren't. And there was a lot of episodes where often the more horrifying one was the real one. And it terrified me as a kid. Some of them still do. And so basically Rob Dyke, he kind of, and I hope that's his name. If I'm butchering his name, I want to say it's Rob Dyke. As I'm going to say this story, I'm literally looking him up on YouTube right now. But so basically
Rob
what he
Lesbian.
does. So the point I'm trying to make is Rob Lesbian. That's Rob his
Lesbian,
name. But the point I'm trying to make is that both shows involved a well-dressed man in a suit coming out, introducing a series of concepts or stories that are to get under your skin. So kind of like how or almost like Tales of the Crypt, the role of that puppet guy, or just any show where someone comes out and introduces something. But he had a really, I believe it is Rob Dyke, and Rob. His name now, Rob Gavigan. But I typed in Rob Dyke and I got this. So maybe, he says he had to change his name. Here's a video. 1 month ago, Rob Dyke is gone. It's Gavagan. I'm glad I looked this up.
Oh, right.
What are the odds that he would have changed his name? And I just had this feeling, there's something ethereal about him. I'm telling you, there's something otherworldly. Now, Rob Gavigan, did I read it? I hope I'm saying this new one correctly. Rob Gavigan. Okay, well, that's what we're going to. Anyways, he just creeps me out. He'll welcome back today. We're going into, and he would talk about these stories, but all of his are true. All these stories, he'll talk about like the top, 3 most, I don't know, terrifying times that this happened, or the top go watch his stuff. If you like to be scared, for me, I love to be scared. So I go down YouTube.
So you intentionally get scared right before sleeping, and then you're able to go to sleep? Or like what happens there? Because I would freak out and not be able to sleep, and then I'd be like, I go to a place where I'm like, no, that like my that closet contains a monster. Like my closet does have a monster now.
There's hypothetical fear and there's actual fear.
Or I'll just start fantasizing. It'll just be like weird.
I'm glad you bring this up because and this is something I should talk about because this is the perfect time to talk about. My therapist yesterday told me that he's
not to unfollow.
Right. He said that we have different executives in our mind, different versions of ourselves that take control. And he says there are some board members that have been with us since childhood, and they kind of are the irrational ones who they base our decisions off of things that really aren't that logical. And he says one really mature thing to do is sort of find which committee member in your head is the most logical one and give them the most authority at the table when they have these meetings, right? Of what's the best decision to do. And I honestly, that's something I'm really trying to work on. Just every decision I make, really questioning, am I doing this logically, or is it like really which board member is making this decision?
Yeah, and that's a great piece of insight.
And I think that when so pertaining to that, when I watch these things at 2 or 3 in the morning, I think the illogical kind of just sort of based off of instinct primal board member is saying, oh, we got to stay up, we're in danger. But really, I think the more logical me knows I'm not in danger. Like, I'm not I'm fine. I've lived in this building for 6 years. I've lived in my apartment for 6 years. I have not, if there's a ghost, I would have seen them by now. And I also live literally wall to wall with some of my best friends. So it's not a scary place that I live in. My neighbors are my friends. I'm not scared of anything.
And it's not like your neighbors are the killers.
Well,
I'm scared tonight.
Right. Now there is actual fear. I have actual fear of being killed. Like, or not being killed, but you know what I mean? I've always, I think everyone does. I think that that's the reason we lock our doors at night. It's the reason I don't know, you hear about these horrible stories and then they're terrifying. That's actual fear. And but when I'm watching a video.
But you imagine it, I think everyone imagines it a little differently. And it's like, if we could see our own fears in that regard, then I'm sure we'd learn a lot about each other. Where it's like, oh, so yours is like more focused on like you're backed into a corner and you can't escape that corner because the killer's there. Or like or it's like the method of.
I think what
murder.
I think when I say when I say I'm not scared of anything, I mean like things that are illogical, like ghosts. And I am scared of ghosts, but. No one's died in my building recently. So, and I feel like if there was a ghost, I would have seen him or her or it by now. Them. I can't say it. Them.
It would be checking out your stuff for sure.
Yeah, and I feel like the ghost or ghosts would know that because it's a very old building I live in. Lots of people have died in it.
Yeah.
But I feel like if there is a ghost, then they would know that they must know me by now. And I always like to think of myself. I like to think that I entertain my ghosts. I do. I like to think that when I'm singing in the shower, when I'm just editing.
Truly transcendent comedy.
I just like to think that they're watching me edit or they're watching my videos too. And they're like, wow, this guy's funny. Oh, we'll let him stay and we won't bother him. I don't know what the arrangement is, Jonathan. But what I'm saying is I'm not scared of ghosts. And so
tell other ghosts, like Brandon's getting on Pornhub, like, come on.
Right. Come on, let's all watch him masturbate. Joke's on them. I never get hard. So I will watch these. I will go down these YouTube holes at 2 or 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. I think 4 in the morning, I'm starting to become less afraid because the sun's going to be up pretty soon.
Yeah,
and it's like not that scary. 4 in the morning, like Starbucks is open in an hour. Mm-hmm. Like it's not the world's waking up. I'm not that scared.
3 a.m., however, is the devil's time.
Yeah, exactly. 3 a.m. is the worst time of the night. That's the scariest time of night. But then it's like, okay, if ghosts. Okay, there's only 2 options. Ghosts do exist. Ghosts don't exist. They do exist. They haven't bothered me in 6 years, and I think we got a pretty good accordance with each other.
Yeah.
They don't exist. Well, great. Then I'm not going to be haunted. But that's honestly the more scary one because that means it will probably be nothing when we die. That's another topic. However...
Unless I've resolved all my problems before death.
Well, but one of my problems is I don't want to die.
That's so funny.
Anyways, so when I go down these these YouTube holes, with the scary videos of the paranormal or just aliens or anything that's just eerie, unsolved, whatever, I know that I'm no less safe than I was before I went down the hole, logically. But it is scary because it does put your mind in a way to think, and it does force your mind to think in a certain way. You watch any horror movie, you come home late at night, you're thinking in a certain way, you fall down a scary YouTube hole, paranormal footage of ghosts found on security cameras and stuff like that. It is a hole to fall down. And after you're done watching it, you're scared because now you put your phone away. All you can think of is one of those motherfuckers at the foot of your bed. And but that's the committee member in your head that's been there since you were a kid. And ultimately, all the committee members have your best interest in mind. But that's why I'm not scared, is because I know that logically and just but I love to be afraid. I love that feel. I mean, we have a holiday every year where we celebrate that feeling. It is fun to be safely afraid. I genuinely enjoy being as scared as I can be while knowing that I'm safe. And it's why I love horror movies, and it's why I love, Not Scary Farm or Universal during Halloween.
Not Scary Farm.
I just love to be afraid of things. I love to, and with people that I love.
But for me, that's the great. Not Scary Farm is great because I really feel the safety of it. Whereas I don't know why, but when I watch a scary movie in my own living room, I don't necessarily feel safe.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it just alters the way you look at everything? Suddenly the setting is different around you now?
Yeah. And I'm not necessarily truly afraid that there's a monster in my closet, but my brain goes there for a second and then requires me to actively say okay, there's obviously no monster in the goddamn closet.
But your brain for a second had to live that reality. Right. Had to imagine that possibility.
I had to turn that off.
Exactly.
And then it goes again somewhere else and I have to turn that off. And now I'm just living a frantic existence where I'm okay, none of this is real. None of this is real, but it's all populating. And so it's,
I totally, no, I used to feel that way when I lived in Livermore in a house. I think my apartment, I mean, you've been there many times.
I do feel safer in an apartment. Yeah.
Right. Something about it. And to those of you who have either seen or been in my apartment, I mean, it feels very, very not scary. I've never been creeped out. Maybe once or twice when I've had sleep paralysis and I've woken up, and that's terrifying. But I've never felt. So I often find myself watching YouTube, going down YouTube holes that I usually would have been too scared to go down had I been living back in Livermore in a house, a 3-bedroom house with just my brother there. My parents are gone on. It's suddenly the world is different because there's a whole downstairs. There's a whole other rooms I live in a very small apartment. If there's an intruder, I would have, heard them from any
point. They'd be right here.
They'd be right next to me. Exactly. Yeah. But no, I just feel very safe. So anyways,
scary YouTube holes.
I enjoy the scary YouTube holes, but I also enjoy YouTube holes that make me, happy. I mean, do you have any ones that just make you really just you feel good watching them?
Yeah,
I have a ton of those.
There's one that I've gotten into recently that was just it was a watch. No, it was because I follow a lot of stuff where it's watch next, and anytime it's really peculiar, but I'm into it, that's particularly interesting. I'm oh, thank you, YouTube algorithm. Crazy exposure. But this one just came up. YouTube was doing it itself. It's Gel's Marble Runs. I don't know if anyone else out there has seen it, but it's just a guy doing
Gel's Marble. And how do you spell gel?
Jelle.
Jelle. Apostrophe S Marble Runs.
Yep.
Okay.
So I started off watching the 2019 marble qualifiers in the Marble Olympics, and he does it with marbles and Legos and
it's with actual. I've seen a small clip of this. It's with actual marbles, and he shoots it right as if it's an Olympic event.
Yeah, he's got big tracking shots. He's got slow panning wides on the audience of marbles. He's an expert commentator. Actually, he really does an amazing job and kind of fleshes out sort of fan interactions and the real identities of the marbles, whether or not they're a cocky competitor, a much more humble in the beginning, and that plays into the way that that's constructed around the way the play unfolds. And it's so happy, it's so childish, it's so intense, and it's it's professional in that it's the same as me watching a good NFL game.
It is shot for shot like the Olympics. It looks exactly like the Olympics, except with marbles as people.
Yeah, and it's just so funny and so good. And like it's like watching a football game or a basketball game where I'm just like starting to root for things, but like you forget the absurdity of what you're watching. How there's
right because you get so into
athlete.
it because he's so into it.
Yeah,
you know,
and everything else is the same.
Right.
know?
Everything, they're just marbles.
It's the whole exact context of a sport, of a big sporting, event, but just take out the athletes and put in some marbles.
You know what it was? How much you want to bet? Yeah, right. Take out the athletes, put in the marbles. How much you want to bet he would probably have? Because we all had. I mean, many of us either had or knew someone who had one of those marble tracks. You know the thing with it's on the stilts and they're funnels and whatever. You put the marbles in and the marbles roll down the things.
It makes you so happy.
How much you want to bet that the creator probably as a kid was like doing that in his head, and then the yellow takes the lead. And now the yellow is getting cocky. And now I bet you he just had this idea, or watching the Olympics or something. He's like, you know what? This is a YouTube video and no one's done it. And it's brilliant because you really can tell when it's a labor of love. You can tell when someone makes a video out of sheerly love it. So Gel's Marble Runs, a very, very funny channel. Jonathan just showed them to me. I'm going to go home and watch more of these because there is something slightly, for me personally, it always tickles my fancy when something is nice and satisfying to watch when you're stoned. And Gel's Marble Runs. I mean, you could tell it's created from another marble lover. From one
marble lover to another.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, not marbles themselves, but the tracks. My brother was even more so a marble lover than I was. He always bought those tracks all the time. The wood ones, the plastic. You ever see the wood ones?
No.
Oh my gosh, they're wooden blocks. They almost look similar to a train whistle, but they're hollow on the inside. There's a tube on the inside, and the marbles connect through the wood. It's basically the same thing. And just anything marbles can go down. It's all fun and games. Happy playlists. Honestly, I think we forget that they exist. We are as a people, we love the macabre and the dark. We like to watch.
Right.
Look what our news.
The clickbaity always wins out. Above the happy.
Yes. But for those of you who want something fun to, I just discovered. I always find really good Vine compilations, but this one I think is the ultimate one because it has all my favorite Vines in it. I'm pulling it up right now. It's in my favorites. Which, by the way, I just have to say, it is so weird. I still get weirded out popping up in a Vine compilation because I personally love Vine compilations, but to be watching something that you're like, you forget, oh yeah, this is entertainment, and then you're suddenly popping up on there. It's like, okay, so here it is. It is called IDK, I don't know, about sleep. It's Summertime by Sunflower Becca. It's an hour-long thing. I highly recommend it. It's great for parties. It's great to just throw on in the background. People. Oh, and if you guys don't do that, Vine compilations are the perfect thing to throw on in the background of the party because if the conversation ever goes stale, there's something new to comment on every 6 seconds.
That's a great point.
It is a great party thing. I highly recommend it. Especially if you're friend mixing and you're not sure how these friends are going to mix, throw on the Vine compilation. Eventually, everyone's going to be finding something to laugh at on there because they're hilarious. I miss Vine so much. I think it's going to come back. I think one day.
Yeah, Vine's going to make a comeback.
I hope so. I mean, it's just such a brilliant thing. Well, now they got the TikToks, but I sound so old. Listen to me, one of my favorite happy YouTube, and I have to say it's one of the most satisfying channels, and I just love this guy's voice. He sounds so studious and professional. Daily Dose of Internet.
Yes.
You know that?
Yeah, you introduced me to him a while ago.
Oh my God. And the guy's beautiful too. You ever seen a picture of him? Oh my God.
No.
Yeah, he works out. But the thing is, he does these videos where he just gathers a bunch of random, interesting or satisfying or crazy or charming or cute or whatever, just stuff that you will love to watch. And it's like he'll just compile these videos and he's like, here's what an
turtle has a dog on his back and they're friends.
That's a good impression. Here's a bone if it was turned upside down. And I don't know, it's just weird stuff. But
a bear came and took it away.
I will watch this motherfucker for hours. I will. Yeah. I will watch this guy, and he's a daytime hole. I will fall down because his stuff really is so you cannot get bored of it.
And you convince yourself too that it's like relevant. You're like, well, I need to see what's happening on the internet today.
And for the most part, a lot of it is educational because he shows you things that you wouldn't otherwise see. Here's what a pine tree looks like split in half, or here's what a bowling ball looks like split in half. I don't know.
And it's like all the trending things that you see on someone else's page is just one at a time. Instead, it's just like, give me all the things that are popping right now on Instagram and Facebook and
bare essentials of and it's a he just feeds you stuff you want to see, or you're like, I didn't realize how badly I wanted to watch that, but now I love it.
It's a great channel.
Anyways, check it out. Daily Dose of Internet, wonderful channel. I'm trying to think what other types of YouTube holes we've gone down. I'm not a big makeup person. I don't believe it.
No,
or not.
I've never
liked
not
makeup.
anything, whatever,
not to knock it,
but I'm not at all into it.
I wear a lot of it, but I do that out of the sheer joy of becoming a character. I'm not really a makeup guy. I'm not into makeup. I don't.
You're not even wearing makeup right now.
I do not wear makeup when I'm not playing characters. I just freeball it on my face. But if I have but I don't break out. Thank God. For those of you wondering, I do not do fucking face I do not filter shit on my face. I have really clear skin. Very proud of it.
Hashtag blessed.
Hashtag blessed. Hashtag I wash my skin constantly, and I highly recommend, because I've met some people at meet and greets and their skin is greasy and they're broken out and they say, "Oh, your skin's so clear." I'm like, well, because you got it constantly. But see, it's easy for me to constantly scrub it because I'm always cleaning up makeup off my face. So naturally, I'm constantly. Right. Why am I talking about my face? Why am I talking so long about this? I'm bragging about
because you don't watch makeup tutorials.
I hate makeup. No, I don't hate them. I don't hate makeup tutorials. But I do hate people who tell me that I'm doing makeup wrong. And so I think I have this natural stigma when I watch makeup tutorials. I'm like, ugh, people would just say that that's the way to do it, but I have my own way of doing it. And I get all, everyone has their own way of doing makeup, I suppose. I guess, I don't know. I have my own weird techniques, and I just don't find makeup that interesting.
Your way. It's fine.
But you know what I do find interesting? What channels I do? Oh, and by the way, if anyone is a makeup tutorial person, either a fan or a YouTuber or creator, Instagrammer, please don't be offended. I love every makeup person I've met is a sweetheart. And when I go to VidCon or Playlist, I meet other makeup creators. I feel bad knocking their industry. I shouldn't. I think they're sweet people. I'm just personally not interested in makeup. But what was I going to say? What was I just? Other holes. Yeah, scary or fun. Nothing. What's funny is that not a lot of stuff on YouTube makes me laugh. I don't necessarily go to YouTube for a laugh. I will say that. I go to YouTube to find interesting or satisfying things, or to watch trailers, or I don't know. But I don't go there to. Okay, I need a quick laugh. If I need to laugh. I don't know. I'll watch I
was on a YouTube hole for a while with the Fail Army, looking for that quick laugh. Right before bed. Yeah.
Is that funny?
Fail Army, it's just fail videos, and I would watch it right before bed to have that quick laugh.
So Fail Army you recommend for a good laugh?
I actually don't recommend it anymore. It's kind of gotten really shitty. They're pumping out tons of content, and so it's no longer curated well. But before it was good, where they had really good fails. But now it's like every day 3 videos, and it's like, well, now there's only one juicy nug per per video.
Do you remember? Speaking of videos that used to, or channels that used to crank out quality stuff, do you remember E-Bombs World?
Oh yeah, dude.
That was a whole. I loved to fall down.
That was the best there was on the whole internet.
To this day, I still think that there's some gems back then that had they been released now, would have gone viral. Yeah. And maybe we can help make that happen. I don't know. You guys, you should check out. This was the End of the World. What's that one?
I'm just gonna say. I think it's.
Is it called the End of the World?
It's End of the World or End of World. I think it's I think it's End of the World.
I think it's End of the World. But it's not it. Is it like a story of the end of the world or something like that?
No.
Just end of the world? All right. Well, anyways, it's this animation from like fucking 2004, 2000, long ass time ago. Jesus fuck. That's how long was that? That's 10, 11, 12. How many years is that now? I can't do the math.
15.
That's 15 years
of internet trending.
Watch it. It's an animation about the end of the world. It's this guy.
There was a time before things went viral.
There was a time before things went viral. Although these did go viral because everyone knew about it.
This was one of the first things too.
This was circa Salad Fingers, OG Salad Fingers. This was circa fucking. This was the same people who did 55. Remember 55?
Hell yeah,
my God! And I feel so old talking about it, but these were the things that went viral back then when I was a kid, and they're really. They're funny. Some of them are really fun. Some of them are kind of dumb, but you should definitely check out E-Bombs World. If there's a way that you can pull up what E-Bombs World's playlist was, I don't know, summer of 2005, 2004.
Yeah. I think people have probably
There's got to be a playlist on YouTube somewhere of like E-Bombs World videos.
Everything
from that year, from the year 2005 through like 2004 through 2006. I want to say E-Bombs World had a lot of really. That was their iconic stuff, and I I'm trying to think. The milk and cereal and milk. Do you remember that song?
No.
The milk and cereal song. Oh, it was the two guys singing milk and cereal, and it was just them eating milk and cereal trying to sing this song, and it was dumb. That was just what the internet was back then. I mean, I think the original what do you call it? The big bang of that kind of stupid virality was. The Dancing Baby. That was kind of like the one initial spark of
sent to us.
Everyone that was like the first viral thing I can think of.
People sent that out in an email attachment.
Yeah, it was always, and what a kick everyone got out of it. Oh, the baby's dancing.
Is that a real baby?
Is that a real baby? No, wait, that's not real. How did they get it to? And that was also at the precipice of good CGI.
Yeah,
that was when CGI was. And for those of you who don't know, the Dancing Baby is all it is an animated GIF of a dancing baby. That's all it is. And you
doing like a kind of a Macarena,
kind of like a Latino looking hand on stomach, one hand in the air, kind of a dance. And it's just, and whoever animated it just really moved the baby quite authentically. It looked quite authentic, but everyone was freaking out because it was a new. No one had seen something like that. No one had seen animated GIFs. No one had seen CGI. All the CGI was for like fucking Toy Story or DreamWorks or something that was like wholesome. You never saw a baby dancing in its diaper. So that was like
turning people on,
right? And turning people on, getting all those perverts hard. And anyways, and then E-Bomb's World rolls around, and there was some. Oh no, Newgrounds. Remember Newgrounds?
No.
Newgrounds was the animated. It was for animators. Okay. It was right before or right around the time of.
Was it Flash? Flash. Strong Bad Emails and Homestar Runner
of that world. Yeah, Homestar Runner. Do you remember Homestar Runner? Oh my god! If you guys want some good ass lore to fall down, lore hole to son of a bitch. Don't edit this out because we're all natural. But if you want a good. Hole to fall down. I'm sure they must have it on YouTube.
Homestar Runner is a great hole.
I shouldn't recommend watching on YouTube. I should recommend watching on this if they still have it up. Go to the original site, support the creator. If they still, does that guy still do it?
I think, there's
right.
As of like a year and a half ago.
Go to Homestar Runner. A year and a half ago? No, Homestar Runner
is when it was up when I.
Right.
There's a lot more stuff, but
have they been adding to it?
To some degree, I don't know when the last one was.
The same characters.
Yeah.
So Homestar Runner, for you guys who don't know, it's quite like my videos in this, or not like my videos, but a lot of people enjoy about the world that I create is that there's all these different characters, and they all kind of merge together to form a larger universe. Homestar Runner is the Flash animation of that kind of concept. It really was like the pioneer of character-driven animated shorts of the internet, really. I mean, they were like the first big ensemble character comedy that came around that was animated. Yeah. But it's like, I want to say about, how many? It was like 9 different characters. It was a handful. It was a cast of different characters. And sometimes there'd be a video just about this one character, or there'd be a video just about this character. But it was this whole world and the whole mythology and lore that they built with these animated characters. So funny. You guys should definitely check it out.
And the Homestar's on YouTube. I'm on their site now. They're redesigning everything because Flash Player is officially dead in 2020. So they're figuring out how to get everything.
Flash Player's officially dead in 2020.
Shit,
that's a big part of my childhood. That's just going down the drain. Flash. Oh, guys, go to these sites and find a way to preserve them.
You got to do it.
Yes, film your screens.
Send it to me.
Send it to me and me only. No, I think that those were the original holes of the internet, and I think that YouTube. I mean, everything's essentially on YouTube now, but there are all kinds of great holes you can fall down on YouTube. I recommend falling down the hole that puts you in the mindset you want to be in. If you want to be afraid, fall down a scary hole. If you want to feel better, fall down Gel's Marble Runs or Daily Dose of Internet, or if you want to feel sad about the world, follow Fox News. I don't know. Yeah, definitely. But anyways, guys, I recommend that you really fall down a hole that's going to put you in a mindset, because sometimes I will fall down a hole of YouTube videos, and it makes me sad, or I'll fall down like a Facebook hole or an Instagram hole of like, at first I think it'd be funny to see like, oh, this mom flip out at the cops, but then I'm just starting to watch like cops like abusing people videos, and now I'm just like, fuck, and that's a total hole you can fall down. There are so many like just negative holes to go down.
Isn't that weird when you click on a video thinking it's going to cater to one thing, and then you're like, I'm very disturbed by the way this cop is treating this person.
Or you do find a video that's exactly you want, but then it has a suggested video and they just get darker and darker, and now you're just watching like people fighting at a Walgreens, and that's not how does that make you happy? Like, I don't know. Maybe it does. If it does make you happy,
you would like this video. Like, sissy kid gets punched in face by good bully.
Right.
What?
Right. Oh my God. Everyone, by the way, I just need to say, and when I start falling down those holes, I just walk out of my house, and now I'm entering this world that I have such a negative outlook on. Like how you were saying, how it freaks you out when you watch scary stuff. Well, what's in the closet? It's like that with me when I fall down those negative holes, and then I walk out into the street. That's my closet. That's my monster in my closet. That's where I'm like, fuck. And then I just assume everyone's a dick, and someone looks at me the wrong way at a fucking CVS, and I'm like,
that guy looks just like the guy in that video.
Yeah, you're probably going to go to some other shoe store and fight someone right now, like I've seen in all these videos I just watched. Fuck you and fuck your kids, and now I'm already this person. So, yeah, Jonathan's turning me down. I do scream quite a lot on here. I'm sorry, guys. Anyways,
but sometimes you learn a lot about yourself. Like we had one fan write in.
Oh yes,
and so Sophie said that she fell down a YouTube hole seeing Abigail and Brianna.
No, Abigail and what's the other one's name? I know that is the conjoined. They're conjoined twins. And they're conjoined by the neck.
They're from
the sternum
everywhere,
somewhere?
But it goes down so that as you go lower down the body, they're more fused, and that's all internally. But they only have 2 arms, born with 3. And
God, can you? I mean, I have so many questions. I have so many not about those particular twins, but just twins of a similar of just people who are conjoined, like. I have so many, and there's so many questions. I have fallen down these holes. I've watched their YouTube channel. I've watched other conjoined twins YouTube channels. I've watched documentaries on other conjoined twins, and it's like none of them answer the questions I want to know. Like how, just because you're a conjoined twin does not mean that you do not have sexual desires. And how do you whose parts are whose, and how do you have a romantic relationship with any? Like I want to know these things, and they don't answer them, and I get frustrated. And I understand they're like, it's American girls. They deserve privacy. I'm not trying to, or not just those twins or any of the twins. I'm not trying to dig into anyone's privacy and trying to figure out things that are, I just want to know, like, if that was me, if a doctor, if I woke up and I was, surprise, you're a conjoined, those are the first questions I'd be asking. How am I going to fuck? How am I going to fall in love? How am I going to masturbate? I mean, really, they're all sex questions. But those are the questions that are not being answered.
It's all about pooping and sex.
And poop. Don't you get me started on poop. What is that like? Like, who pushes? Like, who's like, hold on, this one's a little too big. Let's maybe wait and not push so hard because I don't want to blow out my ass. Who's controlling these executive decisions? And Sophie, thank you so much for. I'm sorry I took it there, but these are legitimate questions.
Right. And on the flip side, so Sophie was saying that going down this hole and then finding special books by special kids channel and lots of other stuff made her realize that for her career she wants to work with special needs kids.
Oh yeah,
and it was like, oh wow, that's the best kind of hole
that you can
go down. Is one that makes you realize something about yourself.
Different holes make people realize different things. Sophie, I am so happy to hear that this hole influenced you for the better. See, I fall down the same hole, and look the thoughts that I have. Shows you really what kind of YouTube really is possibly the government's way of holding a mirror to seeing how the society really is. You know, it's a true light on your personality. Sophie really is a good person. The government knows that I'm a piece of shit.
DM us with answers to all Brandon's questions.
Yeah. Oh, no, but seriously, if they do, I want to know. Because I gotta know. I want to know. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening to these holes. About these holes, our favorite holes. Some of these holes are nice, some of them are bad. I think what we can take away from this, Jonathan, is no matter what hole you go in, make sure you come out happy. Yeah. Wow. That's a good thing to take home. You know what? Take it to the bank. Jonathan, thank you so much for talking about some holes with me.
My pleasure, as always.
And ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a great time. And remember, make wise hole decisions.